welcome back to Bromley Wonders, and we're back in Birmingham now. London out the way, Tenerife out the way, seen it all, seen it all. You know what you haven't seen? I don't think I've put these horrible flats. Where are they? Oh, the trees are doing a great job of hiding them. Hang on. These horrible flats, which are just kind of behind the main square in Birmingham, really, with the library and the rep theatre and the ICC, the Hyatt Hotel, and yeah, just behind all that, we've got like this new octagon building being built, which is pretty cool. But yeah, these flats happened years ago. I guess they're like maybe the 70s, 60s, and they're right next to the Flapper, which I don't think I've been there on the channel, so we'll have a look down there. Actually, yeah, I parked up down there in the kayak a couple of years ago, but we haven't been there on land, so we're going to have a wander around. Just generally, I've got bloody hours to kill now. I'm on a job at the HSBC building, which I think is called Arena Square, the other side of what used to be Easy Hill, by the Hyatt, basically, by the Exchange building. So yeah, gonna have a wander around. Always found this part of, I mean, there's the NIA, it's just around there. What's that? I can't remember the name of that. A Brindley place. I think that's what that is. But yeah, down here, so there's like a cobbly little street that goes down to the old kind of wharfy looking area, which is now the Flapper of Firkin, or is it just called the Flapper now? But it's been a rock and alternative bar for a long, long time. And just at the top of those cobbles, there's these houses with a lovely curve to them. And I know nothing about them. It's got a lovely lamppost. But I've always liked them. I'd hope they are listed, but I do not know. Lovely views of the canals leading up to Lionel Street over there with the now defunct BT Tower. There, yeah, there's the NIA. What's it called now? The Barclaycard Arena? No, I've got absolutely zero actual plans for today's walk, but just going to catch you up on some places that I haven't been on this channel, and this is definitely one of them. I mean, I've been there loads of times, you just haven't with my camera, but used to be in a few metal bands back in the day, and this was the loading bay, wasn't it? Get into the lower ground stagey area. Very good sound in there, always liked it. Lovely venue for a sub drop. And if you were part of the deathcore scene in maybe 2009 onwards, then you'd know all about them. So we've got a bit of a marina just round the back. This is where you'd come to smoke joints. That's quite weird actually, how that just pops out the top. I mean, that building is behind that flat. But a bit of weird city planning there. This is a bazaar. I think it's going to get much higher too. It's like 50 stories it's going to be. I don't know. It's cool though. And I think, no, it wasn't supposed to twin with the BT Tower. It was supposed to be the opposing cylindrical-ish building to the Rotunda. This was all part of the city plan back in the 70s, I think, and it's finally come to realisation. There you go. I've just noticed something kind of weird. It looks like this is where you can moor up your disabled people. Here's a little business I haven't seen before. So, the hotel boat. What's that? Duke number 3, Hotel Narrowboat, hotelnarrowboats.co.uk. We're going to have a look. What do you reckon? Prices. Is it weekly rent? Daily? Monthly? Is everything included? Fuel and that? Who knows? But yeah, I'm just going to walk under Sheepcote Street Bridge whilst I pull up the website. You can have a little look, and then going to move on. no idea how interesting this is or isn't going to be. Hope you're enjoying it. Is that a bargain? I don't know. Pretty sure this is still a National Trust, the old roundhouse. There's a distillery which I think was called the Cat and Fiddle back in the day. And they kind of lost their music license on and off. And then they did introduce like a traffic light system for when the sound got too high, and then the electrics would cut out. So all you had to do to get around that was to plug your amps in the kind of where the fridges plug in, because obviously they're not going to turn that off. So we're basically heading down the canal from that first episode of kayaking through town. And I'm sure this is where I got on the kayak, just around here somewhere, which is now a bit more overgrown, and I don't think you'll be able to access from there anymore. But whilst we're this end of town, it would be remiss not to pop into Edgbaston Reservoir, have a walk around there, and then maybe take a look at the Port Loop build, which was coming on pretty nicely last time. Kayaked through there. Yeah, it wasn't far off at all back then, and obviously we had the launch point was there, which was pretty cool and useful. And yeah, I think there was many more units being built at the time, so we're going to pop in and see how that's getting on. Yeah, avant-garde. But it might be time to pull up some old footage. I don't think I'll have it in HD because I've only got it on YouTube now. But that is where I took the kayak down to have a look at the footages of all this new Port Loop stuff at the time. And it looks like it has crawled all the way out to here. Oh, hello. And yeah, I really like these houses. I don't know if they're reasonably priced or what. Obviously, I imagine these aren't to... Maybe you can own these, but going off the Jewellery Quarter goods yard, I imagine a lot of these buildings are built to rent. But this is the Port Loop development, which is going to bring Ladywood, I think that's what this area would count as, back into the map, because it's been neglected for a long time. It lost its that ballroom, the tower ballroom by the reservoir. It lost that ages ago. That's probably been knocked down now, considering that was still there last time. More trains. I'm sure my speech will pick up in speed. I'm trying to keep it a bit slower, just so you can actually understand what I'm saying for once. But yeah, the cadence isn't working for me, so I'm just going to start chatting shit much quicker and just get the information out there, because it's easier that way. Well, let's get to that bridge, back on ourselves, and have a look at this loop. So a swift change of plan, because I mean, I've just found out that it's all really well laid out now. But the Port Loop going that way, the Icknield Loop, which is the one we've seen already. But if we do a right underneath here, under the trains, we'll join the Soho Loop, which goes around this old nutter's house, infirmary back in the day, and workhouse. There's asylum over there, prison over there. So it's going to take us to Winston Green, basically, which I don't think will take too long. And then we can head back down, cross the bridge, then do Icknield, because I've got the time. So let's do that. Let's see what happened to these workhouses, because that's interesting. I can't say I've ever been for a walk out in Winston Green before. So exciting. And the weather's all right for it. I actually think the quiz boat I went on last year, and we won by the way, did come this way and then joined back on the exit of the loop, and then headed back into town. And that was like a good hour and a half, I think. And that was at canal boat speed, which I think is slightly quicker than my walking speed, but we'll see how we get on. But I haven't seen any of this before. All new. Here, for this new housing development, has taken the place of the old workshops and infirmaries. Now, I don't really know what was here in the meantime, because I reckon those buildings probably went a long time ago. But interesting. I'm going to stick with the canal, I think, and see if there's any more new developments on the way. But interesting. I've never even drove round here for any real reason, because life doesn't tend to take me this way. So let's have a look what the Soho Loop brings to the senses. And I am quite aware that the wind noise probably isn't fantastic. It's very choppy in the air today. But yeah, this is cool. I like it. When I did come down here, let's turn the camera. Let's have a look. Let's look you in the eye. So last time I did come down here, it was all for the boat quiz, basically. And we were on the quiz boat, Brindley Cruises, I believe, run that one. But it was winter, it was dark, it was raining, and all the windows on the boat had steamed over due to the people inside thinking a lot. So couldn't see anything. So I haven't seen any of this before, even though I've been here. So all new to me. So we're now heading under Spring Hill, which does take you on the road towards Winston Green. So this is all making sense. One thing I've never actually seen for myself is the nice, now I don't know if it actually still is the old asylum or infirmary, but there's the nice old building behind the prison, which I've always wanted to look at, never got round to it, always felt a bit of a mission, not exactly somewhere I want to travel out my way for, but today's the day. I've got the time and the energy, because yeah, dog update. He's got corns, so I can't really walk him that far at the moment. So this is my opportunity to actually get some bloody steps in. Got about 2 hours to chop up, so I reckon this will do it. And here's to the lack of geese. We could do ducks, but yeah, I got trapped by some geese yesterday down by Gas Street, the basin, just trying to exit onto Bridge Street. And like the pussy I am, I turned around and went another way because I didn't want to walk past the geese. No thanks. Now I am kicking myself that I didn't come this way when I was in the kayak, because it's a much longer loop. There's a lot more to see. Like, it was nice to see Port Loop, but this I didn't even know existed at the time, and kind of wish I came this way because it goes on and on. It's nice. I mean, it's roadside. It's very bizarre how close they've built to this now, but it's kind of nice to see that it's become part of the mesh of society, hopefully. I mean, and it doesn't seem to be covered in graffiti too much, which is a damn surprise, but well done, everyone. So what do you think happened here? I definitely kayaked past these back in about 2 years ago. As you can see on the sign there, it's a 2022 name, Spirit of something. I cannot remember what the name was, but have they been pinched and hidden? What's all that about? Have they been given away? I don't know. We're gonna find out. It's called Spirit of the Climate Emergency. So the next turn off is going to be All Saints Park, which looks like the place where these older, I don't know if it's the asylum or infirmary, I don't know what it was, but we'll try and find out when we're there. Yeah, but those nice older buildings are just behind Winston Green Prison today. So we're going to pop into the park, hopefully it makes itself fairly obvious, and we'll have a look at something nice. The exit from the canal just there into the park itself. A bit residential. There's a play area, quite Brook Bailey. I imagine this might be the first place either an escaped prisoner or someone who's been freed will visit to remind themselves of the good old days. So, what's this big load of ground? A big cricket pitch. Nice. How different. More of Birmingham that I've never seen before, and I'm not quite sure why. That's life. And if there's any point in this channel, it's to make you lot realise that. So you go outside and have a look, because everywhere, especially now, I mean, we can moan about the traffic regulations and bus lanes and cycle lanes and the trams, but they have attempted to make life really easy to get around on foot. And yeah, I mean, I left Centenary Square probably an hour ago, but I'm not in any rush. And now I'm nestled behind Winston Green prison, and I haven't really had to step onto a road. So I don't know why I'm giving bus lanes and trams all the credit, because obviously the canal's built in 1829. Oh, what's really working out for me today. But there you go. Look at this. Never seen it before in my life. None the wiser to what it actually is, so I'm going to have a quick read up and let you know. So what we are looking at, after a little read up, is the administration block of the old All Saints Lunatic Asylum. Originally opened in built in 1848, opened in 1850. The prison just behind it, or the older version, was opened at the same time, basically, I think about 1849. This was put in because the city of Birmingham was actually big enough now to actually need, by law, a lunatic asylum. So they built that. This was all accommodation and housing for the loonies, I believe, and also the sports grounds. Then those new houses over there, that's where the City Fever Hospital was built, which I think is 1870. All of this gone by at least like the end of the 1990s by the sounds of it. And All Saints is basically the last of the surviving local enough crazy houses, basically, because they all closed down. I think Rubery was its replacement, but please go and read about it, because I'm just rattling off what I quickly read a second ago, and it seems rather fascinating. A lot of it to do with how enclosed the land was due to the canals. So they really packed it full of stuff back in the day, and now it's cleared. These were the sports ground, now being handed over to the local authority as a park and pleasure grounds, and it looks rather nice. But there you go. Yeah, the old building, I mean, straight up, the prison wall is that thing. And so, like it said in the write-up, the All Saints Administration Building has been encompassed in the ground of the prison itself. And those walls there are the high surrounding walls. Not particularly massively high. And I think there's been plenty of cases of drones being used to fly drugs into there. People have escaped Winston, I'm pretty sure. But there we go. It's good, isn't it? So nothing really to see, because it looks like it's under major reconstruction. And yeah, like I said, it's part of the prison grounds, so I don't think I'm going to be getting in there. Not legally, anyway. You're going to have to break the law to get in there. So onwards, back to the canal, and we'll finish off the Soho Loop. Oh, how exciting. So I followed this path out of the park with the full assumption that I'll be joining the canal again, so hoping so. Looks like I'm in luck. It's just behind that wall. Yes, right next to this war memorial. It's like the burning spot of many a scooter. I don't know what went on here. There we go. Thousands of Commonwealth black servicemen and women civilians fought and worked to aid in the Allied victory. Black men like Ulu Clariquanio and Ignatius Sancho campaigned for abolition and equal rights to transform the British political system. There you go. There you go. And there is the perimeter wall of the prison itself. It's pretty mad. I don't know how many people are in there. Not enough. But it looks like the old building looked really cool. Well, the old gate housey wally bit, which as a quick passing read whilst I was having a quick flick through there, it looks like the old walls and buildings were built, well, they were still standing when they built all this new stuff. They got the new stuff up and then knocked down the old stuff, which, you know, obviously you're not going to knock down the prison wall before you build the next one, so that makes sense. And we got a bit more prison wall up close. I'm going to touch it because I never have. Unless that's a sign that says do not touch. Oh no, it's a no flying drone zone. Of course it is. Like I said, they were strapping drugs to pigeons, I believe. But there you go. It's only a 2015 axe, that's pretty new. Touching the prison wall. Haven't touched that in my life. Cool, next. I mean, they look a bit older from this side, which is weird. Hey ho, back into the loop. Yeah, that bridge there was called the Asylum Bridge, because basically when the new bit of the canal came in the 1830-ishes, the old canals from the 1700s, which was the loop itself, I believe, it then created an island. So this whole loop, which then joins with the main drag back into town, that's essentially a cut-off island, which they turned into the Union Workhouse. We've heard about workhouses before, with Highcroft, and the one in town at the bottom of Constitution Hill back in the day, I believe. So yeah, it's just basically where all of your broken families, broken moms, broken everyone, broken children, send them there, house them, make them work. Not for free, you'd give them credits or little coins that could be spent in the workhouse. And that was the livelihood for thousands. At the time, I think it had 1,100 people in the bit that I just read about. It probably went up, but crazy. So yeah, that whole island was just cut off from society, and now a lot of the old buildings, I think, or at least the space, is taken up by Birmingham City Hospital, which is interesting. So that marks the end of the Soho Loop, just popped out there. So we're going to cross the bridge back onto the other side, head back down to Icknield Loop and have a look at the Port Loop build. See how that's all getting on. Looks like we've got a bit of a train storage yard here, the new trains. Exciting. Now, the Hockley Port bit, when we walked up, was fenced off, like an iron gate or whatever. So you can't go and see that. So I don't know if that's privatised now or what. But yeah, don't bother if you want to go and see Hockley Port. I'd come from the other way, if there is one. Go figure it out. So what I've learned today is you can actually have a pleasant walk around Winston Green. That is not something I thought I'd say when I woke up this morning, but believe that. Still kicking myself that these things are new to me, and I have almost spent 32 years, not just on this planet, but in this city. Let it be known that children of my future will see absolutely everything there is to see, because as far as I can tell, it's actually only getting better. I'll show you the sights. I mean, it was at the start of the video, those kind of semi-aerial higher up shots of Centenary Square. and the library and Baskerville House and all those bits. I'm currently working in HSBC with some of just some of their managers from all around the world. And there's a bloke, I think he's the Spanish guy, I'm not too sure, Italian, but he's come in and he's said that Birmingham is, to him anyway, and it's been lovely weather this week, so it's a bit of a missell, but he has said that Birmingham is the Florence of England. How about it? And always try and take in your surroundings, because you'll just figure out little interesting things, like clearly this over to that and across to over there is the innards of an old bridge. Now if you kind of think about it, a new train line is running the other side of that fence. Keep hearing the trains go past, so you can only deduce that when that train line was put in, it was time for this bridge to go, and the world moves forward, progress and all that. But it's nice to see the carcasses of the old plans. And just to kind of drive home how much time you can kill without spending any money, and just by wandering around. Maybe bring some snacks and drinks from home so you don't have to spend anything. But I'm now entering the hour number 3. I've been out 2 hours already, and all I've done is walk about and look at a lot of new stuff, to me anyway. And coming out, so there was the entrance over there to the Soho Loop, and now I'm just about to head over the bridge, which will take me into the Icknield Loop. We'll have a look around there. Noisy one. So I guess that's a diesel train pulling the new Birmingham carriages. These are some of the older ones. Bloody hell. The London North Western there. Not a train spotter, by the way. But we're getting loads of new trains, and they are better. With tables and chargers and that. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like you can actually walk around the Icknield Loop like you can the Soho one. Soho, Icknield. And let's remember the Soho one, basically there for the municipalities and the asylums and the hospitals and the prisons and all that stuff, all over there. And this one, basically more for industry back in the day, and making apparently bedsteads out of iron and brass, something like that. And yeah, all the other bits that the world requires in the name of industry. And what caused the problem, it's almost like these used to link up, or did they? And this big straight one is the new one put in like the 1830s, 1820s, and that's what created these loops, which may have sparked off it did, didn't it? It sparked off the use of this island as somewhere to put the madhouse, and this one as somewhere to put the industrial kind of side of things. But now, another change of use, heading into the 2030s, this will all be housing. I imagine there'll be shops, but already this is that Port Loop development we were looking at on the water last time. Now it's time to have a little walk around. Righty ho then. Gonna walk down here. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, here's the new world. Keon Homes. Have a look. Are they any good? I don't know. Birmingham's only island community. Oh, they're doing it again, but they're rebranding. Calling it a community rather than an asylum. But yeah, I mean, I think that it looks like a fancy Butlins to me. But look, I don't know. Look how much a singular swan poo can ruin the aesthetic. More footings here with all of their plumbing already in, and probably their initial electronic feed, I guess. But this is where things start. You put the shitter in first. What's this? Whoop. Reserved matters application in respect of access, appearance, landscape and layout and scale. There you go. Of course they got permission. There's nothing happening around here before. Major planning application. Here we go. Application for a variation of condition number 1 attached to the planning reference. Rah, rah, rah. Oh, we've missed the deadline anyway. It's happening. Got Craddock construction involved down there. This is the Soho Loop green. Is there a green? Not seeing much green. It's all happening. The Soho Loop Square. Should we have a look? I think it's worth a look. Come on in. Oh, here's a bit more pictures of what it's all going to be. So this is Port Loop Phase 2B. Oof. Do you like it? There's quite a few houses that look like this already towards Lozells and Wheeler Street. I'm sure this is kind of the idea. But this is what our future looks like. Which actually I think is better than buildings like my flat, for instance. They were a cool idea, but I definitely prefer the look of this. Maybe it won't last as long, but that's just being pessimistic. Ain't it nice? So these are the guys, the lucky guys, whose back garden is on the canal itself, which I think is brilliant. No idea on the costings for these. I'm gonna guess heading towards the 300 grand mark, but I could be wrong, and they could just be for rent, and maybe not that extortionate. If I go a bit more realistic view there, no one's got fish eyes like that. Nice hiding of the bins, these community gardens. And we should be coming up to the launch point for the boat, which was a joy to find last time. There it is. That is the shit. That is the shit. Sneaky view of a garden. There we go. Lovely. So yeah, if you ever are going to take up kayaking, I'd implore you to park around here and just bring your boat here, because that's perfect. It's what I'll be doing on my next one. And there's no parking regulations around here at all yet, so just dump it and go. For now. I'm sure there'll be permits eventually. Ooh, so we do have a website to be looking at in a minute for Mac Hugo Homes. Which part's this? I don't know. Is this Loop Square still? I think so. So no, South Loop Park. So we're going to have a look how much that costs shortly for 14 South Loop Park. Right. And just a bit of juxtaposition for you. Here's the old world. Still there. Due to be torn down, I imagine. But let's have a look at this thing, which is where I think a bit of a boating school or something. Well, definitely the sales lounge for this whole area, because this boat here, this wide beam, is all liveried up for Port Loop. Oh, and here's those boats that I was talking about, the Spirit of something. So they're still here. So the ones around the corner, potentially not stolen. Potentially stolen, but there you go. The Spirit of Bolton and what? The Spirit of Working Together. What was the other one called? I'm going to bring it up, obviously. That boat's called Spirit of the Climate Emergency. But look at this. That is bad, boy. So is it a little cafe? Neighbourhood donut. We'll have a look at the controls just while we can. Very cool. Needs to be one of these. We'll disembark. Now, annoyingly, we cannot walk back down the canal. This used to be the towpath. So, does this give us any more plans of where we can walk instead? Not this way. Nah, buggered it. Just the phases. For all that to come. Mental. So that's where we came from the canal. This road at the moment, I will pop the map up, but it's basically mapped out like a little bell end, which if we go down there and go to the top of the shaft basically and do a quick left and then a right, we'll be in Edgbaston Reservoir, and then we can pop out the end of that and hit Rotten Park Lane and then get back into town that way, which will probably be, which end will that be? Towards Five Ways? By Cineweld and that? I don't know. Let's try that. No point going back to the canal now, we've seen all that. It'll only get us back to the Sea Life Centre, which we've seen before. So let's go down here. Here's the old buildings that are possibly due for destruction, I imagine, for this Port Loop thing. Yeah, this is all boarded up too, ready for some more Port Loopage. So no doubt we'll see these go bye-bye in the near future. Yep. Ground services. Construction. No destruction. But it's definitely a goner, isn't it? Oh. Forward. Oh, cool. So yeah, instead of traffic now, you're just going to get people in boats all the time. It's going to be a dream. So that was a quick walk up. Pretty big hill. That is Osler Street. You got to expect a hill around a reservoir, because where would you put the water? So we're going in for this new entrance for the Sea Cadets. We're getting a new boatyard. And next door, it's the first one I've seen, but this is an academy. A Chinese one. Something Peace Pagoda Academy. So that's all change. Oh, am I going to be able to escape? This doesn't look likely. Just be one. Nah, not going to get anywhere. Nope. You shite. I've got a feeling the ballroom isn't there anymore. Oop. So, time for some old footage to show you what was here. I think this time last year. Used to pop down during the Drayman's days for the brewery. Gone. Mental. And that's where that new boating yard is. Wow. So if you've got any memories from the Tower Ballroom back in the day, did you have your wedding receptions here? Did you go to the roller disco? There's all kinds going on, but yeah, already all these wildflowers just popping on in there. Crazy. Wow, so this is decidedly more full than it was last time I came, because I flung my boat over this fence and there was loads of space to sit down and set up, and now there's a few foot. But it was hot as hell last year, wasn't it? So the reservoir was running low. I think we could see how low it was because of the walls over there was giving it away. And suppose I'm going to go and sit down on the grass and eat a sandwich. So it was out of Reservoir Road, well, out the Reservoir Park, whatever, Edgbaston Reservoir, down Reservoir Road, get out the end of that, cross Monument Road, get out the end of that, get onto Ladywood Road, and now I'm on this kind of semi-residential, semi-businessy, schooly walk back in towards Five Ways. See the Tricorn building there, which is pretty cool. I think it was like one of the first of its kind when it was built. Bit of brutalism there. What else? Some new stuff we can see there. I think that one's perched just outside the Hilton Garden Inn by Ousel Square in Brindley Place. So we've got our bearings. I'm going to carry on this way though. And the Park Regis Hotel as well, part of Five Ways. So this is the kind of end of town that's getting this big revamp to bring it into the area a bit more, because it is a little bit isolated. There's not a fat load of shops. So he says that the first thing I can see directly in front of me, which I believe is Hagley Road, is a Morrison's. So, you know, they've got it all, mate. There's somewhere I haven't been for a long time. I'm trying to think the last film I watched here was probably in year 10. So it might even have been the Borat movie, I don't know. Long time ago. What was the cinema? Was it a Cineworld then? It's an Odeon now. An Odeon Deluxe. The 3D screenings with the 4D screenings. It used to be a Chinese buffet place. Looks like they got rock climbing now. And kids playing that. Mulligan's Eat, Drink and Golf. Weird. An arcade, and this is like Star City, but in town. Different. Really can't remember the film we watched. Damn. But yeah. Good lord. What I do remember is this old looking bit here with Nuffield Health inside. That's the old children's hospital from back in the day. I think you can see the old signage for it on the front. It's pretty nice. You'd never have guessed it was going to be a Dixie Chicken at any point. But there we go. Nice old building. Oh, there's the signage. We'll get to it before I sneeze. There we go. It's a casino now. Gamble responsibly and all that. So, interesting facts for you. What's this anyway? Charles Clifford's Esquire. Oop, there you go. Charles Clifford. Is he? No, Charles Edge is the one I'm thinking of. Never mind. But anyway, cool little facts for you. I don't know if it's a fact, but it's definitely a rumour. So the hotel you can see in front of us, that is the Park Regis Hotel, Five Ways. Now, from an aerial point of view, it looks like a casket or a coffin, and it's said that the guy who designed it actually jumped off it at some point and topped himself. Oh my god, that's for sale. What were they called? Shit. Well, basically, whoever built that building there, the glass one that's up for let, they built the top floor revamp of the Park Regis conference space. What were they called? I want to say Galliford Try, but I know it's not them. Colmore, nope, never mind. But yeah, they built that as one of their projects, and it was all singing, all dancing at the time. And then, yeah, because basically I was the sound and data guy for their conference on that floor for the opening day. And the funny bit was, they'd designed it, they'd installed it and all that. I'd ran a PA system inside with normal speak-on cable and ran them across the floor, as you do for these day-to-day hires. And then the one of the architects slash designers slash whatever project managers, he's come over, he's like, why haven't you used the ports in the wall? And I had noticed these speak-on ports in the wall, and I said, well, they don't work, mate. And he's like, yes, they do. I'm like, well, unfortunately, I've taped it all down now, and we're about to start soon, so I cannot move it. 10 minutes later he comes back to me and apologises because he realises they unplugged all of the cables in the walls when they sorted out some more plasterboarding. So that was that. Weird building. And it's there's some cool old photos which I'll try and throw up of when that was there, but this underground pedestrian subway way wasn't. And it's quite interesting to see the big hole as this was being installed. I think the only other recognisable building in the area at the time will be the Costa Coffee over there, which I think is like an old house. And this is the Five Ways area where, oh, what was her name? Not Punkadink or whatever, but that woman who, well, the girl who lived at St Mary's Hospital, the old Great Bar Hall, she was living this end when she was describing Hagley Road heading down to Lee Way being a holloway basically, and all these roads were like 7 feet, 10 feet underground now, with like big sidewalls going up because the amount of traffic that passed through them and slowly worn the ground away for years and years and centuries. It all comes back, doesn't it? New buildings everywhere. That's the new one we could see. That's another new one there. All these big squarey rectangle things. New. This one over here is can't remember the name of it, but there's rumours, well, I guess they're all confirmed really, but everyone who's ever worked in there got weirdly ill, like every company who ever bought it. So they ended up closing it and kind of condemning it, just thinking it's either cursed or there's a horrible gas leak underneath or something like that. I don't know if it's built on an old landfill site, but yeah, that's due for demolition, I believe. It's been like that for years and years and years, but yeah, it's just people get ill in there. That's interesting. And I think that's all the fun facts for this side of town for now, the ones that are in my head anyway. So whilst we're this side, we're gonna walk through the subway bit, just cuz, back onto Broad Street, and that will take us Edgbaston Shops. I'm gonna go this way. Yeah, this way. Basically back to Centenary Square, and that's probably been a 6 mile, maybe 7 mile walk in a few hours. This is new. This was a car park, this St Martin's Place. Bloody hell, I've not seen this. Now next door, that used to be the car park for the Park Regis, and I don't know if this is a rumour, but that Park Regis used to be a 5-star hotel, and obviously the star system in hotels is only down to how many amenities and things you have, not down to the quality. And it's a nice quality hotel, don't get me wrong, but they let these people build on the car park, so they lost a star, I believe is how it went down. Wow, I mean, it's not very impressive. I'm more impressed that it's just here. Sorry about the wind again. Crazy. It looks a little bit more Dubai-fied on the logo than it looks here. There you go. Right. And I guess the last thing to really look at is the fact that the whole of Broad Street was kind of revamped and redone with the Commonwealth Games in mind for 2022. So they kind of pedestrianised it a lot more traffic calming measures. They got the tram running down here now, and the trams are battery powered and do not actually require the overhead lines. And they did this so they could run, I forgot which part, oh yeah, so they could run between the square peg in town, basically by Tony Hancock, down to the train station, because there's no overhead lines there. So yeah, what was his name? Our mayor at the time, can't remember, but yeah, he basically got the funding, millions and millions of pounds, for some battery powered tram lines. Well, trams, the lines aren't powered, see, no use of those overhead lines. Impressive. But the overhead lines remain, which is kind of weird. Old bus there. So I don't know if these lines are in fact redundant now, or maybe they're leaving them in just in case the batteries run out and they can just lift up the contacts and crack on with the journey. I don't know. I don't know if they lift them up and then they can charge them. That sounds like a pretty clever plan. But yeah, all change. And I gotta say, I mean, Broad Street isn't for me. I never come down here for like the club scene or the food scene or anything really, because it's trash. But people do come here and enjoy it. I don't know how many accidents these high tram curbs cause, because everyone's generally pissed down here on the weekends. A good bit of fun. I'm starting, I mean, it's not for me, but I do understand where all this design was heading and where it is heading, and it's definitely improvement on the past. I'm trying to think, oh, has that been smashed down as well? So there's, at one point there was going to be like a buffet food place over here, which I'll show you. And I was really excited because it was going to be a world buffet, and it used to be some American-y kind of restaurant thing, similar to TGI's. And it just didn't happen. It was like halfway through the build, it didn't happen. Oh, the building's still there, that's cool. There's still nothing in it. What's this transport house? I don't know what that used to be. Snobs has moved again. I don't know if you're aware of that one. But they were on just off Hurst Street on the Smallbrook Middleway, I think, which is also due for demolition now. People are fighting for it because it's like the first curved brutalist building to exist, I believe. So that's cool. Other cool fact, my dad used to be security doorman, or door technician he would say, at the original Snobs, which eventually, yeah, that got knocked down about 4 years ago during the Paradise Circus rebuild. So it's all changed. I'm hoping this is interesting to some people who haven't visited here in ages. And again, all these facts being compiled for my own pleasure in the future when I forget all of this, and I can watch it back and go, oh yeah. So one more for the fun brutalist books. This was the Jury's Inn not so long ago, now rebranded as the Leonardo Hotel after a buyout. Again, more refurbishments have happened in there, and they are much better than they were. The new kind of reception and bar area is actually rather lovely, but just crazy design. Only fact I can remember about this place was it was called Around the World in 80 Dishes at one point, and I'm talking about the same time as when I went down to the cinema for the last time in Broadway Plaza, so that's a good while ago, probably 15 years, 20 years ago, which is kind of weird to say. So I'm hoping this has come across as one of the most comprehensive walks around a random bit of town that you've seen in ages. Because what have we done? We didn't do Centennial Square. We started on the canals outside the NIA, Barclaycard Arena. We worked our way up towards the Soho Loop. We went around the Soho Loop. We hit Winston Green prison and playground. Back on the loop, back onto the main drag. We did the Icknield Loop, heading round Port Loop. We've done Edgbaston Reservoir. We've headed down Ladywood and Monument Road. We're now on Broad Street, heading back to Centenary Square. And I guess it's time for a pint after all that. Oh, one more for you. Black Sabbath Bridge and bench, why not? The full holiday experience. And then I'm going to call it a day after I've shown you. Oh no, we did start at the square. That's right, at the library. There you go. There we go. Any more facts for you? I don't think so. This is probably the only surviving Jimmy Spices in the world now. Don't know if anyone remembers the one that used to exist in Sutton Coldfield. It's bloody wonderful, and it just closed. Don't know why, don't know when. probably at 10 years ago. This is actually the second Wetherspoons on the road. I didn't film it, but just down there is the figure of 8. Yeah, here's another one, which I think I'm going to be obliged to go in because I need a wee, and there is an outside space to have a vape. And I think I've got like another hour to kill, so excellent. Maybe I should show you. Oh, go on, let's get back to the square just so you know it's true for those of you who aren't from here. And I'm going to hit you with a fact. Well, an opinion that is rather controversial, but I'm definitely steadfast in my thoughts on this one. And it's nice to have an opinion that you actually care about, isn't it? There's the Hyatt Hotel, the Regency. As a kid, I thought this was a gentleman's club, but it's just called the Gentleman and Scholar. So over here, the HMRC building, that's a new one. This is called the Arena Square now, I believe. So that's HMRC. We've got the HSBC. You've got the University, the UOB. They're inside the University of Birmingham. We're in the old Exchange building there. And I don't know how far back we're going, but Matthew Bolton and all those big three, James Watt and William Murdoch, this used to be over there outside the Exchange building, which it no longer is. The Exchange building being an old bank, and inside there's a quote written in the tiles, I think you'd say, and it's like savings are the mother of all success, something like that, which is weird because I sit in a lot of investment conferences now, and it sounds like savings are an absolute awful thing to have as far as your money, in line with inflation, becomes worth less and less and less as the years go by. So you should really invest in commodities or real things which will hold their value, and you should not save money. But that's not my opinion. That's what I've been told by the experts. And for the last unpopular opinion of the day, possibly of the year, I've decided, because I've been sat in the HSBC building all week looking out at the square here, and after much deliberation, I have decided I like the look of Birmingham Library, and I think it's one of the nicest things we have. I know it's all like facade and covering and metal work, but it looks really good next to even Baskerville House. I don't like the glass thing on top. I think it's a bit rubbish. This Octagon thing, it's interesting, but it's rubbish. I think the rep looks pretty rubbish. Obviously, like, inspired by Rome, but not good. The Hall of Memories thing, that's quite cool. These new things are crap. Look at all the paint just flicking off already. They've only been there for about 2 years, and something's going horribly wrong with that paintwork. All the new stuff over there I'm not really a fan of. There's the Axis building, I think, behind HSBC, and that's starting to age like, I don't know, age like roses. It's just not going well. HSBC building looks quite nice. It's holding up for now. HMRC building, I don't know about that. But yeah, I'm going to say best building in Birmingham. Let me know in the comments if you think that's stupid. I've been at Brindley Wonders. I've been at Brindley Wonders. This has been a walk and a half, and I hope you enjoyed that one. I've already listed where we went. I'll try and list the list in the details below. If there's anywhere you want me to hit next, let me know and I'll show you around. Because I know there's people who are incapacitated and can't do this for themselves, and I'm here for you to show you the changes in the city centre, apparently, because there's bloody loads. Thanks for joining. Brindley Wonders, off he goes. A bit of bonus, Arena Central, so this is the bit that's comprising currently of the University of Birmingham and the HMRC and the HSBC and the Crown Plaza, and there's going to be more to come because they knocked down the Axis building last year, and that's going to become part of this whole shebang. Currently, it's a bit of a sitting area. What would you call it? A forum, which is quite nice. Could do some more green, but they got some trees, so that's nice. So yeah, more to be built basically. It's going to be a nice bit of town, mate. There's the old, so it's going to start kind of moulding in with the old cube over there. is going to become something rather nice, I reckon. But it's very different. This is all from 2 years or so. I think some of it was ready for the Commonwealth, but not a lot. There you go. Another thing just for you to be aware of. So that's the Exchange building, the old bank. It's now under the control of the University of Birmingham. And there's actually a cafe in there and loads of free workspace where you can sit down and enjoy your entire afternoon for free. Just buy a coffee or something, I guess. Nice. Right, I am done. Birmingham. Bye bye.